Hello everyone, I'm back again, and this is Calculus Part 4. Calculus Part 4. And in this video over here, we are going to discuss applications on differentiation. Applications on differentiation, okay? What are other types of questions that you might be asked whenever you're dealing with differentiations? Now, let's just first discuss the physics part in our curriculum. تمام الفيزيكس part عندنا في O level math Edexcel. Now the physics part in math O level is divided into two main categories. Now the numerical questions, تمام, and I think there is a video on YouTube about this part over here. The numerical questions related to most of the physics rules. طبعا احنا دلوقتي بس we're just going to discuss, or I'm just going to remind you with the speed rule اللي هي speed equals distance over time. تمام فبيجي عندنا أسئلة numerical part. And what do I mean by numerical questions؟ يعني الأسئلة أرقام بس. فبنستعمل ساعتها this rule over here اللي هي speed equals distance over time. تمام. Now and then what is new بقى عندنا in O level math is the algebraic questions related to speed. Algebraic questions related to speed. تمام كده؟ And of course you can tell the difference أكيد يعني ما بين numerical و algebraic. Numerical يعني the question is only numbers. Algebraic يعني there are letters in the question. Now first we all know that the speed is the change of distance over the change of time. يعني how much distance did I cover in how much time. تمام كده؟ وكلمة change في الماث قلنا يعني differentiation. Now, I'm just going to introduce some vocabulary words, okay, which is not very important بالنسبة لنا قوي في الماث, يعني يمكن هي في الفيزيكس بتفرق أكتر. Now, we all know the distance, اللي هي المسافة اللي أنا مشيتها, and there is another word that represents distance, which is displacement. Now, without going into a lot of details, any of you who take physics O level will know the difference between distance and displacement. طبعا distance scalar, displacement vector دي ليها تعريف ودي ليها تعريف. احنا في الماث ما يفرقش معانا قوي القصة دي. بس what I want you to know is that whenever you read any of these words, distance or displacement, يبقى هو بيتكلم على distance. And then of course we have the speed. Okay? We have the speed. And another word for the speed is velocity. Again, without going into a lot of details, speed is scalar, velocity is vector. If you're a physics O-level student, then you will know the difference. And then, of course, lastly is the acceleration. And the acceleration is change of speed, and it's just one word. Now, how do I use differentiation in questions related to distance, speed, and time? Please يا جماعة نركز بقى في القصة دي عشان الناس اللي بتحب تفهم. Now, as we said, speed معناها ايه? Change of distance over time. Change of distance over time. So basically, if I divide the distance by time, I will get speed. Now, what is the definition of acceleration? The definition of acceleration is change of speed over time. يعني, and if I divide the speed by time, then I get acceleration. Change of distance over time, يعني if I differentiate distance, I get speed. Change of speed over time, يعني if I differentiate speed, I get acceleration. Now let's look at the question so that you relate what we did over here. I'm going to use the notes and I'm going to use classified part 1. Let's go to the notes. And I'm going to solve a total of 3 questions related to this part over here. So let's go to the notes and let's go to this page over here, which is page number 315. Page number 315. This is what we're going to discuss now. And as I tell my love you students, differentiation دايما بيجي منها آخر السنة سؤالين. Okay, واحد application اللي هو اللي احنا هنعمله دلوقتي ده وواحد عادي. Now let's look at questions related to if I am given distance, also known as displacement, and I want to find speed and I want to find acceleration. So let's refer to the notes, page number 316. Let's refer to the notes, page number 316, and let's explain and analyze. هنا بيقول لي a particle moves in a straight line. Again, معلش خليني أقول البيج تاني. This is notes, page 316. Okay, a particle moves in a straight line through a fixed point. The displacement, now this is a keyword بالنسبة لي, وقلنا displacement, also known as distance, without going into a lot of details. The displacement of this particle of t seconds, so small t represents time, and the s مش speed, the unit as the s of the s, as you can see over here, is meters, so this s represents distance. Okay, مش هي عشان s تبقى speed, لا. Okay, where s is given as follows. يبقى this equation over here, if I want to define this equation, as you can see, is an algebraic equation. يعني algebraic equation يعني فيها letters زي ما انتم شايفين. And in this equation over here, the s is subject. وزي ما اتفقنا s هنا مش معناها speed, s هنا معناها displacement أو distance covered. And we have the t, which is the time. This is an equation in terms of t. عشان بس لو قريتوا عموما الكلام ده تبقوا فاهمين يعني ايه in terms of t. In terms of t يعني الايكويشن بتاعتي فيها اللتر t. ده معناه. طبعا the first question over here is very simple. Find ds by dt. طيب find ds by dt. طبعا this is the differentiation. Now how do I differentiate? I differentiate زي ما شرحنا في part 1 بالظبط. Without any difference. زي ما شرحنا في part 1 بالظبط. طبعا هنا the question says find ds by dt. هنعملها وبعد كده هنفهم ايه هو ال ds by dt ده اصلا. So here if it says find ds by dt, يعني the question simply says differentiate this. And as we said, how do I differentiate? Only using the same exact rules of differentiation, اللي هو لو الباور مش 1 خليني اكتب اهو هنا ds by dt انزل اضرب minus 1, so this is 2t. لو الباور 1, your differentiation is شيل اللتر, and for your constant value the differentiation is 0. So this is your differentiation, which is ds by dt. Now let's understand what is this highlighted green. This highlighted green is actually the speed, or طبعا also known as velocity. ايه يا مس ده ازاي؟ Now let's take بقى this and analyze. يعني ايه ds؟ ds يعني the change of distance. يعني ايه dt؟ dt يعني the change of time. يعني change of distance over change of time. Now change of distance over change of time is simply what? Speed. So basically, if you are given the yellow, which is distance, and you are required to find the green, which is speed, what do? I differentiate. طيب ومسي الأسئلة هتيجي بعد كده ازاي؟ نفس الأسئلة اللي شرحناها بالظبط. I substitute, I create equation, minimum point, maximum point, نفس الكلام بالظبط. هنا بيقول لي find the velocity of the particle when t is equal to 5. طبعا as you can see, my velocity is given in terms of t, and the t تاني وقلنا لا لما يقول لي find يعني substitute. عشان كده بقول لكم يا جماعة هو نفس الكلام بالظبط بتاع اللي قلناه في ال 3 videos, هو بس it's just a different application. تمام؟ I will substitute over here, فهتبقى 2 times 5 minus 6. 2 times 5, 10. 10 minus 6, which is 4. Substituting in the velocity, لأن هو قال لي find the velocity. So let me just use the same highlighter. I will substitute in the green. Now let's look at this question over here. Question number C. Question C says find the acceleration. Now, what is the definition of the acceleration? The definition of the acceleration is change of velocity over change of time. How do I change the velocity over the time? So what I'm trying to say is that if I take the velocity and I differentiate it, then I will get acceleration. If I take the green and I differentiate, I get the acceleration. Of course, what is the differentiation over here of the green? The differentiation of the green is 2. زي ما شرحنا يا جماعة قبل كده، لأن أنا هنا عندي 2t، وأنا لو الباور is 1 just take out the letter, so the acceleration is 2. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that if you are given distance, or in other words, displacement, تمام? Differentiate it, you get speed. If you have speed, differentiate, you get acceleration. تمام كده؟ طيب the following question بقى هنشوف، هل ينفع الإكزامينر يبقى مديني distance أو displacement ويطلب acceleration على طول؟ Is it possible that I have distance and then I find acceleration immediately? Yes. If you have distance and you are required to find acceleration, all that you do is that you differentiate twice. You differentiate 2 times. تمام كده يا جماعة؟ So let's look at a question related to this part over here أهو. هنا طبعا in the same page, page number 316 in your notes. بيقول لي a particle moves along a line for t is greater than 1, يعني time greater than 1, the distance of the particle. if you look at the previous question, the previous question كان كاتبها لي displacement، هنا كتبها distance، فهتفرق في ايه؟ I am given اهو the distance equation as you can see. تمام؟ So let's just write it over here. This is the distance given as x equal. المسألة اللي فوق given as s equal، فمش هتفرق، هو بيبقى كاتب لي. So x equals 9 over 2t plus, I'm just going to focus on the fact ان ال t دي لوحدها could be written as 1t. Now as you can see ايه ده؟ هو ممكن يحط لي denominator تحت letter، احنا شرحناها في فيديو part 3 I guess. فطبعا هنا before I do anything يا جماعة, whenever you're solving any question عموما related to differentiation, you have to do some checks before you solve. تمام؟ الchecks دي including what? Including that you have no letters in your denominator. As we said, before you solve any question related to differentiation, نعمل شوية checks كده. أول حاجة أتأكد إنه مفيش letter في denominator. طبعا هنا as you can see, لا, there is a letter in the denominator, so أدي بالشلوت أطلعه فوق. وبليز يا جماعة والنبي بلاش الحتة بتاعت يا ميس طب والتو ما نطلعها فوق هي كمان. لا، طلعها فوق ليه؟ وبعدين بقى الابداع يا مس نطلعها 2 as negative 2. لا يا جماعه, please remember انه when you move an item from numerator from denominator to numerator or the other way around, you change the sign of the power. Okay, and your problem is only with the letter, not with anything else. So x equals the 9 remain as it is, the 2 remains as it is. Now el t في denominator has a power of 1. When I move up هتبقى power negative 1. ايه يا مس ده انت ليه ما كتبتيهاش جنب ال9؟ يعني ليه ما كتبتيهاش كده؟ ما it's the same يا ولاد. يعني I can write it like this, I can write it like this, they are both exactly the same. تمام كده؟ طيب. So this is the first thing that we did. وبعد كده plus 1t plus 1t. تمام كده؟ طيب. نيجي بقى هنا على اللي هو بقى نكمل بقى السؤال. بيقول لي find the acceleration. ايه ده؟ يعني انا هنا I jumped from distance to acceleration immediately? Yes. طيب how do I do that? عادي جدا. As if there is an invisible speed في النص. Differentiate first to get speed. Differentiate second to get acceleration. So step number 3, I will differentiate to get the speed. وقلنا also known as velocity. طيب أكتب إيه هنا؟ أكتب speed. طب if I want to write it as دي حاجة by دي حاجة, you can just write it as dx by dt. Change of distance over change of time. dx by dt. تمام كده؟ And how do I differentiate؟ بنفس الطريقة بتاعتنا بدون أي اختلاف. أهو. أنزل أضرب minus 1. So multiply, decrease by 1. Negative 1 times 9 على 2 is negative 9 على 2. t to the power of negative 2. وقلنا when the letter has a power of 1, remove the letter. أهو. So this is speed. So the purple is distance. The green is speed. لا, the question says find acceleration. So what do I do next? I have to differentiate the speed in order for me to get the acceleration. So differentiate distance, you get speed, differentiate speed, you get acceleration. طب يا miss, what are we going to write here? Just write acceleration. يعني مش لازم أوتر نفسي what do I write. طيب يا miss, هنكتب dA by dA. I'll just say this once and I'll not go through it again because it's important in AS, not in O level. If you want to write an expression that represents second differentiation, it's written as follows: d2x as over dt2. This means دي مش معناها power, دي معناها the second differentiation. This you don't have to write in the exam, just write the word acceleration وخلاص. نفس الكلام أنزل أضرب minus 1. Negative 2 times negative 9 على 2 is 9t to the power of negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. طبعا plus 1 changes into a 0. So this is your this is your differentiation over here. Oh, that's it. خلاص طلعنا acceleration. So the purple is distance, the green is speed, the brown is acceleration. Now let's look at the question هنا. Here it says find the acceleration. طبعا find, it means I have to substitute in the acceleration. Find the acceleration of the particle when t is equal to 3. So since I am required to find the acceleration, يبقى definitely I will use the brown, the expression that represents acceleration. And what will I do with this expression over here? I will just substitute the t by 3. فهتبقى 9 times 3 to the power of negative 3. That's it. And then on the calculator, 9 times 3 power negative 3, I'll get an answer of third. I'll get an answer of third. مشكلة الديفرنشيشن يا جماعة مش في حله. مشكلة الديفرنشيشن إنه sometimes students forget that this is أصلا a question related to differentiation. One last question related to this application over here. I'm going to move on now to part 1, classified. And I'm going to move on to this question over here. I'm going to move on to this question over here اللي هو question number. ممكن نحل سؤال ولا سؤال يعني خلاص هو الأسئلة كلها يا جماعة شبه بعضها يعني you can just solve in the classified and remember that the marking scheme is sent already on the group of the parents so you can solve in the classified and check your answers. This is in your classified part 1, page number 244. Classified part 1, page number 244. هنا بيقول لي a particle is moving along a straight horizontal line, the fixed point كذا كذا كذا. The displacement, also known as distance, is given by this expression over here. Ali, find an expression for the velocity. خلاص, I guess as you can see, it's just graded out of 2 marks. هي الفكرة كلها بس ان انتوا محتاجين تعرفوا ان ده سؤال differentiation, ان ده تبع الدرس. Okay? فهنا بيقول لي find an expression for the velocity. يعني I will differentiate. So again, this is distance. Let me use highlighters. I love the color coding صراحة. So this highlighted yellow is distance. This highlighted yellow is distance. أو displacement يعني. Now, as we said, you can use either word. تمام. Now the question here says velocity. Another word for velocity is speed. How do I do that? Differentiate the yellow. Differentiate the yellow. So you get 6t power 2 minus 24t plus 7. And I guess بقى at this stage you all know how to differentiate. يعني بتهيألي بقى الموضوع خلاص بقى معروف. So the highlighted yellow is distance. The highlighted green is velocity. هنا بقى بيقول لي ايه؟ Find the time. يا ريت يا جماعة ناخد بالنا من الأسئلة. Find the time. يعني I am required to find the letter T, which the acceleration, this is another keyword, is 0. يعني هو بيقول لي هنا in this question أولا a keyword is acceleration. I have highlighted yellow, which is distance. I have highlighted green, which is speed. So I need acceleration. Because otherwise, why would the question mention it? هو بيقول لي which the acceleration. So this is a keyword. يبقى step number 1 بالنسبة لي immediately is finding the acceleration. يلا انتوا قولوا بقى. How do I find the acceleration? Differentiate the green. طبعا هتبقى 12t minus a 24. So this blue, I'll highlight it with the same color. This highlighted blue is the acceleration. So I found the acceleration first. قال لي ايه بقى كده هنا؟ at acceleration اهي بصوا، يعني انا مش بتفلسف. acceleration is 0. وقال لي find the time. الولاد قالت اه miss substitute ايه يا حبيبي؟ فانا in order for me to substitute I must be given a value of t. هو عايز t وقال لي is، وقلنا is في الماث يعني equal. هو قايل لي اهو acceleration is 0. is 0. That's it. Find the time. اوكي، يعني انت هنا عايز the value of t. طبعا ال t بقى هنا خلاص super easy in one step. Move the 24 and then divide by 12, so you get a final answer of a. You get a final answer of 2. تمام. So this is the end of this video over here. We solved 3 questions related to application on differentiation اللي هم the algebraic questions. اللي هم the algebraic questions. If you wish to solve more about this part over here, you have classified part 1 and you have classified part 3. The last video that I'm going to discuss is video part 5 اللي هو the challenging questions and the tricky questions, and how do I know أصلا if this is a question related to differentiation. And part number 5 is going to be the last video related to differentiation. Bye. See you in a bit.